we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
What is going on, everybody? I have my good friend, Gunny Gumby, like the rising star, a man that's everywhere. It's so nice to give me some time. I mean, I feel honored to have you, man. Like I had to fill out a schedule. I had to put in like a time request for you.
Hey, Tyson, man, it's an honor to be here, bro. Hey, you just gotta let me know when you want me, dog, and you know I'm here. I appreciate that awesome intro, though, but I appreciate you.
So we were talking before. It's like we finally made it, dude. Training camp is finally here.
Yes.
This offseason had so much anticipation with Aaron Rodgers, and it was like, all right, they cancel mandatory mini camp. Like, all right, now we just gotta wait, and we gotta wait, and it's like we're finally here, man. Like, how relieved are you?
Beyond relief, man, because I've been wanting so much so to actually get back into the whole content creation game. And for me, I just felt like I couldn't just jump on the lack of news, but everybody would jump on the rumors or, like you were saying earlier, Madden ratings. Listen, some people can do that stuff. That's great. I personally, I'm not into it. And I just feel like I'm going to go ahead and talk about something I got to actually care about it or be passionate about it. So I'm excited. There's going to be actual football to talk about. So I'm pumped. Been waiting for this for a long time. Longest off season, even though it's been one of the most rewarding off seasons for New York Jets fans.
Yeah, no, it's funny because we were talking about this earlier. It's like I love our community. Let's talk Jets community. I love them, but they keep shit real, man. Like if you post a video, it's like Aaron Rodgers played a bad day of golf today. I'll get 35 messages, bro. You're chasing clicks, you're chasing subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like
savages.
Savages, man. But this is probably the most excited I've been for training camp in probably a decade because the excitement around the team is justified. It's warranted. You have the biggest star in the game as your quarterback. You have 3 or 4 rising stars. It's great. So let's start. I guess the biggest news right now is that Quinnen Williams is done, dude. And I think that was we were all nervous about that. Like, get it done before training camp. The parameters of the contract, we all knew were going to be there because, Lawrence was done. Everybody's done. It's just a matter of how many years. And the last thing you want is him going into camp as a distraction with, the money. So I'm so glad it's done, man.
Bro, I couldn't agree with you more. To me, I think a lot of people were worried about like, hey, let's get Dalvin Cook, let's get DeAndre Hopkins, let's do Aaron Rodgers restructure. You know what? Aaron Rodgers is here. I don't care if he is $103 million on the cap next year. Yep. You know who's not guaranteed to be here? Quinnen Williams. That to me was the biggest nail biter of the offseason. And to have it done now before freaking training camp kicks off, I think we can all breathe and actually enjoy training camp and watch these guys start to mold together, gel together, and get better.
Yeah, and it was a good deal for both sides because he is a young player on the rise, arguably the best, one of the best at his position. So he earned it, and now this shows the locker room. Listen, we will take care of our own. Like Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. Hey man, you know what? You play like a Jet. We want to earn you the money. We gave you the money, so you keep doing the right thing. We'll give it to you too. So and he's so young, man. It's not like
25,
right? It's not like a guy turned 29, 30. Like how many? Like dude, this is a great deal for the Jets and a great deal for Quinnen. Gets the stability he wants, gets that big-time money he deserved. He's earned it. And now you can all move on as a defense and build around him. It's one of your core piece on defense is going to be here for the next 3-4 years at least.
100%. I mean, 25 years old. We got him till he's 30. This is the prime years of a football player's life right now. Granted, going into 30 as a defensive tackle, he might still be able to go ahead and get himself one more big contract. So it's a win for him too. It's a win for the Jets. I think the majority of us were all on board with, hey, give that man $25 million per year, give him $100 million 4 years, call it a day, right? Yeah. And we got a discount, $96 million for 4 years, right? So we got a bit of a discount if you ask me, in terms of what we were all like on board with being vocal about. Hey, just get the kid signed. I don't care if it's $100 million for the next 4 years. And again, prime years. And this is, in essence, an extension. Let's not forget, we still have him for a 1 year. Well, the 1 year this year.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an extension. I saw the rework numbers too. It also freed up another $4 million in cap for us this year. A lot of people have some speculations as to what that extra $4 million could be going towards. But at the end of the day, for me, he's locked up now for the next 5 years. 5 seasons. We get Q as our centerpiece on that defensive line. Let's get Aaron Rodgers locked up for the next 3, and then boom, we're happy.
Yeah, and so you just a great transition because now the Jets have ample cap space. They can make some moves, and there's 2 guys out there that people want. And to me, the no-brainer, I'm hoping it's announced next couple of days, is Quan Alexander. Once Chuck Clark went down, Quan Alexander made even more sense because that was kind of your hybrid guy that can go in the box, make plays for you. It's no disrespect to Jamie Sherwood or Najee or anybody else, but Quan, he's been there, done that. He's proved it last year. And he's a legitimate leader. Like the players all want him back. That Saleh praised him. If you give him give him a pay raise for all I care. He didn't make anything last year anyway. Just get it done, man.
Yeah, Quan to me is just an easy one. I mean, I really don't understand what the holdup is. This is a team right now. We've put all our chips to the front on the table. We're making a push. We know the linebacker position is right now a question mark. Quan fills that hole. Like you said, losing Chuck Clark, that's a thumper that we now lost in the running game too. Put freaking Quan in the game. It makes so much sense. I don't believe we're still waiting on this. And personally, I've been adamant about the appreciation and determination that Quan has had in putting content. Hey, listen, I want to be a Jet. He's been adamant about it, and I love that. So he wants to be here. The team wants him to be here. He proved last year he played on a discount for us and played well.
Yep.
Pay the man. Hey, look at it this way. You know what? We're paying you for last year and for this year's services if you want to make yourself feel better. But he outplayed his contract last year. So it just makes 100%. All the sense in the world to bring him in right now.
Yeah, this is an all-in year, man. You want every possible piece of the puzzle, and you don't pinch pennies now with a player like that. It's not like you're saying, you know what, we got to give him like $17 million a year. If you got to give him 1.5, 2, who cares? If he wants an option for next year, I don't care. Like, bring back every possible piece to the puzzle. So you go from Quan, which I think everybody agrees about. The one that gets interesting is Dalvin Cook because I'm all in, man. Like he's like, oh, it's $7 million a year with this and that. And to me, it's like this. Is he an upgrade from Michael Carter? Is he an upgrade from Bam Knight? Is he an upgrade from Izzy? He is. And it also gives you an insurance where if Breece Hall is not, you don't have to force Breece Hall back, which I think they're not going to anyway. So if you want to give him 5-8 carries a game to start the season, cool. Dalvin Cook, pass protection, reliable, veteran guy. And if you don't want to go that route, you don't want to spend that much money, I'd still bring another veteran anyway, dude. Fournette, whoever else, because it's just, I don't want Aaron Rodgers taking unnecessary hits. And I also want a running back that has been there, done that. Like a Leonard Fournette was my guy for all this whole time because he played with Brady. He get the tough yards, all that stuff. Yep. Where do you stand with this whole Dalvin Cook stuff?
Listen, I think Dalvin Cook can come here and be an immediate running back 1B. Right. And I think I was very impressed with how he worded it during an interview he did about 2 weeks back, when he stated out loud, listen, there's a couple of teams that, I'd be going over there to support their lead back. He stated he'd be okay with being freaking RB2. And a lot of people were kind of concerned that might not be the case. And that if he came here, he'd be RB1. But let's look at the teams right now. It's the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets have been in the mix, the conversation for the last several weeks. The only team he'd be RB2 on amongst those three is the Jets. So he pretty much kind of went out there and kind of hinted like, hey, listen, I know if I go some places, I might be RB2. And arguably only the Jets can go ahead and say that with Breece Hall being RB1. Unfortunately, I don't think he becomes a Jet. As much as I would love for us to get Dalvin Cook, there's just too much. I feel like this is a lot of posturing to go ahead and get the Dolphins to up their number. And I think the Dolphins are going to cave. They're going to up their number, and he winds up being a Dolphin. It just makes too much sense, right? He's from the area. It's his team growing up. He wanted them to draft him when he got drafted. Like, there's too many components right now that just add up to him going back home to play. And the Dolphins are no slouch. That offense is stacked. So he'd be going to a team that could potentially contend in the AFC East as well. But as much as I would love to see Dalvin Cook on the Jets, it's not going to happen. I think he winds up being a Dolphin.
No, I completely agree. I like that the Jets are in the mix. And if they drive the Dolphins price up, even better. Or if you sell them, hey, listen, man, if Aaron Rodgers reached out to him, listen, man, come be a part of this team where our offense has endless potential and be a piece of the puzzle. And like, especially I'll keep saying it over and over. Like, I love Breece Hall. But I'm worried. I want Breece Hall at his peak in December, in January.
Facts.
I like let September, October, November. Let that committee come in, or your other, whoever, Dalvin Cook, Fournette. You can use Michael Carter, Izzy. And I'm not. And like, people always talk about Izzy. I'm like, he's 20 years old, man. Like, you're gonna put him in this high-powered offense. Okay, learn this defense, pick all this stuff up. Like, and can you count on 4th and 1? Like, that's a lot of responsibility for a young player. Michael Carter. We all like Michael Carter, but he, last year I thought he was hurt. But it's like, I want the known commodity. You know what I mean? Like, I like Bam Knight too. He put on some weight. He looks great, but like, this is not, I don't want wiggle room. I want like known stuff at this point.
Yep. Nah, and I agree with you 1,000%. You went all in to bring Aaron Rodgers to the fold. He's not 25. He's not 30. He's not even 35 years old. He's only got a limited window for us to take advantage of the next 2 to 3 years. This isn't like you said, this isn't the time to start freaking, cringing your purse, right? A lot of people are always talking about like, oh, it's too much money. It ain't our money. It's not your money. It's not my money. Hey, let Woody spend his money the way he wants to spend his money. Trust me, he's a billionaire. It's not going to hurt him. I don't understand the logic of like, oh man, it's too much. Not my money. I want to see a Super Bowl before I die. That's what I want to do. So if you're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers, you're telling me right now that you're all in. You're pushing for the ring. Yep. Quan Alexander, easy. Dalvin Cook, to me, easy. I'd give him $7 million. I would. Why not? He's, like you said before, you're going to have fresh legs going into December, January, the time of year where you want your running backs running at their peak. Yep. And for me, if that means you give Dalvin Cook $7 million to come play with us, okay, fine. Give it to him. It's $2 million more right now than the current offer on the table by the Dolphins. I don't know, man. I think it makes sense. I still don't think it happens, but man, I would love for it to actually come to fruition. Like you said, imagine having a more proven commodity behind Breece Hall. 100%. I like the upside of Izzy, but like you said, man, he's a puppy. We don't know if he's a dog yet this game. He's got great upside, but he's still a pup. Michael Carter, I'm with you. I think he was hurt last year, but his motivation seemed off to me this offseason with some of the stuff he was tweeting. Yeah. So he's got me kind of concerned and worried now too. I know it's just Twitter and Instagram, but those things kind of tell you a story behind the veil. And for me, I'm not seeing a guy who's really excited about being here ever since we traded Elijah Moore, making me feel a little uneasy. So I'm with you, man. I do think we need another proven commodity in that running back room. I would love it to be Dalvin Cook. I like the Fournette idea, though. A big-bodied guy who can go ahead and add to the protection of Aaron Rodgers on the offensive line. He's a great chip blocker. Yep. And he's got, decent hands, too, to go ahead and catch out of the backfield. Not as fast as he once was, but he was never known for his speed. He was known for being a bulldozer. So that's another sneaky good running back who can go ahead and get into the running back room.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So you're talking running back, which is, which you want to have a good stable of them. But the more important thing is the offensive line. And, I know that you're a celebrity and stuff. I've talked to a lot of shows lately, but when I do the few little things that I do, one of my big talking points was my biggest concern is the offensive line, because right now it's a lot of ifs. If Dwayne Brown comes back healthy and can play at a good level, if Laken Tomlinson can play better than he did last year, because last year was terrible, who is going to be our center? AVT coming back, and is Mekhi Becton going to embrace right tackle, stay healthy, and beat it for 17 games? So it's like, to me, the offensive line, there's potential. We can hope that, AVT can be a Pro Bowler and Laken Tomlinson can return to that level, and hopefully Tippmann emerges as a good quality center. But the offensive line is like, that's what we worry about, because you don't want Aaron Rodgers getting hit, and you also don't want to be able not to run the football.
Facts. The offensive line, like you said before, on paper has all the potential in the world, right? I think on paper you look at it and be like, "Ooh, man, top 5, top 10." Offensive line room. But again, it's the unknowns, right? The injuries we took last season were just unheard of, man. I sit here and look at some of the stuff that we dealt with on the offensive line, and I'm like, how in the world? We went through, I think it was 4 different starters by week 3 of last year at the offensive tackle position. That is unheard of. Doesn't happen in the NFL. So I do believe that, like the football gods can't do this to us twice in back-to-back years, right? I mean, you can't do the unheard like this. We're the Jets. If it's gonna happen to anybody, it would happen to us. But I gotta believe the storyline right now for the Jets is trending upwards, and at some point or another, you gotta stop punching on us and go punch on somebody else, right? Like, I like our offensive depth. I think this time around, we made it a point to add depth, because last year, people that were playing should have been playing. They shouldn't even be in the league. They're practice squad guys at best, and we had them actually playing freaking tackle and guard for us. But I do like that we've added depth this offseason to make sure that we're not in a situation that we don't have at least starting caliber, NFL caliber offensive linemen out there if we were to go ahead and take some catastrophic injuries. But we also need to remember, we also have Aaron Rodgers now at quarterback, which is going to help the offensive line tremendously. This is a guy who has one of the quickest releases in the NFL. Yeah. Every offensive line Aaron Rodgers has ever been behind has looked good. People think the offensive lines are just that elite. Look at it. Even through rotations and injuries, those guys never seem to go ahead and look bad. That quick release matters. His ability to adjust in the pocket and move matters. Aaron Rodgers is not as mobile as he once was, but he still has high IQ and understands how to maneuver the pocket. And I think that in itself is going to give this O-line a boost. In all actuality, when it comes to the question marks, injury is my biggest fear. I feel like, man, just keep these guys healthy because the offensive line needs to be able to gel. But every time we're rotating people in and out, you can see that the offensive line just kind of like fell apart. It was being put together by duct tape. They need to gel. So for me, with the addition of an Aaron Rodgers, our current offensive line does take a step forward as long as they're healthy. But I'm with you, though. In terms of question marks, that's a big question mark. Can they stay healthy? It's been a couple of years since we've seen that, and that's concerned.
And I completely agree with you, man. It's like but do you agree that you think it's Dwayne Brown at left tackle? I think they could say it's open competition, but I think it's assuming that he can start training camp, he could practice within the first week or so. You think it's his job just kind of solidified already?
It's 100% his job. And I love Coach Saleh trying to go ahead and motivate freaking Becton by saying it's a competition. But I don't think anybody really believes for a second that the guy who played with one arm last year, and oddly enough, even though with one arm, he still finished as a top 20 offensive tackle. I don't know if you knew that. One arm last year, Dwayne Brown still finished as a top 20 offensive tackle. That surprised me. He's coming back. He's also rejuvenated. This is a guy who's playing right now for a ring. And he might not be an all-pro caliber freaking offensive tackle. One thing I'll say about that position, you don't need to be young to play it. You need to have a high IQ. And he does have grown man strength. So a combination of that high IQ and the grown man strength goes a long way. I just don't see Becton beating him out. I think Becton winds up really competing for that right tackle spot.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think it's when you give a guy a selfless warrior award and he's so respected in the locker room. And I think when he says he comes back, he's not coming back, to come here and sit on the bench. There's no way. So if Saleh's saying the best five, he's one of them. So you got him, Tomlinson. The center position is going to be interesting because you got Tippmann, you got McGovern. I think ideally you want Tippmann to get in there and just lock it in there. He's a great athlete, good communicator. He's physical. He can run, which would be ideal. And then you go, to the right, AVT, we all assume is going to come back healthy, motivated, just be who he is. And then the right side, the one thing I wonder about Becton, though, is with he looks phenomenal, dude. The weight loss. He does great. The weight loss is incredible. He should be more explosive. Are you concerned about his lack of maybe losing some power and the dominant just because he was such a physical big presence, which he still is, but not as that massive man that he used to be? Is there any concern he could be more agile? Where my concern was always struggling against quick pass rushers, like the explosive guys off the edge. He was kind of slow, so he can never get his arms around, kind of turn fast enough. But will he still be that physical presence, do you think?
So I think he's still a big dude. That's a big ass dude. I mean, he's dropped weight now. He's healthy where we want him to be for more mobility. And I gotta say this, man. I kind of think a lot of his dominating demeanor early on was based off of his weight as well. It's a lot harder for a freaking defensive lineman to move somebody that freaking big, which might have made him, his job a little bit easier. They couldn't move him, but he could move them. Right. So he's going to I think, take a step back in terms of his overall strength. But I do believe he elevates his ability to go ahead and be more mobile. He's an athletic guy. Let's not forget, Becton is an athletic dude. He was kind of a freak at the combine. And I think you're going to see that come out more. That quick feet, that ability to go ahead and get in front of edge rushers is going to be to his benefit. Again, he was more of a dominating presence in the run game, not so much in the pass game. And I think the pass game concern as a rookie was because he was too big, man. Just couldn't get those speedy guys. Just got around him a little bit faster. I think you'll see a better balanced Mekhi Becton, but I don't think he'll be as physically dominating as he was his rookie year because, again, those guys now have a lighter guy to go ahead and work with when they're coming off of the defensive line.
No, that's excellent. We used to watch him in training camp, and he was just getting smoked off the line. But then it's Carl Lawson's a very good player, too, so you can't discount that. But
this is true.
The Eagles did it. The Packers did it. It's all right, it's not just one team. It's a lot of teams. So hopefully that additional mobility works out. And hopefully he embraces right tackle. That's the kind of story that I'm wondering if, once he gets in the camp, is he going to truly embrace him? You know what? I want to dominate here. I want to get my contract here. Or is he going to be you know what? I want to play left tackle. I'm not happy about this. I'm really curious to see because, with Hard Knocks there and everything else, this is a story they're going to key on. No doubt about it.
I've been adamant on saying Hard Knocks is going to go ahead and get there. And the first thing they're going to do is find Mekhi Becton. I think they're going to be looking for that freaking hot take, that thing to clip that's going to go ahead and show controversy or a little bit of disconnect behind the closed doors. I think Jake Asman said it beautifully, man. When it comes to One Jets Drive, we as Jets fans all love it, but they're able to go ahead and condition everything we see in a positive light, right? We don't get to see a lot of the negative stuff at all. I mean, hell, the majority of them, we've never seen Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson will be a major storyline with Hard Knocks. I think Mekhi Becton will be a major. The things that's going to go ahead and cause a little bit of controversy, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of what the hell's going on there? I think Hard Knocks is going to go ahead and bring that to light. And I think Mekhi Becton will definitively be one of those individuals. So I'm a little nervous for it, but at the same time, I think true colors matter. And if we're talking about a guy we want to give, a bigger contract to next year, if he has a good year or an okay year, I think what comes into play after that component is his character. And I think Hard Knocks will probably expose some things.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think you mentioned it. I think that's going to be a big story. I think Aaron Rodgers, they'll give him some access to Hard Knocks, probably not as much. But I think the Zach Wilson story is going to be big, man, because he's going to be playing a lot in the preseason. He's going to get most of the reps because Aaron Rodgers ain't playing. If he does, very, very little. It's going to be like how much you learn from Aaron Rodgers and how are you playing. And then if he struggles, they're going to be all over that. Or I think Zach Wilson will be a big part of this show, to be honest with you.
100%. 100%.
So now, do you think will there be a time during training camp? Say we're 2 or 3 weeks in a training camp, and Zach is still not picking up this offense to do anything. Do you think the Jets get bold and go out and get a veteran quarterback?
They'll have to. They'll have to.
Right.
I know this regime is committed to Zach, you know what I'm saying? Second overall pick. Yep. This was a guy picked by Joe, a guy picked by Coach Saleh, right? They were all there when they made that pick. Yep. And so you feel a little bit more committed to him. You got to go ahead and push it. And this guy should at least be a backup. We wasted the second overall pick on this kid. He's about to get $12 million this year. Maybe he can at least be a backup, right? And that's where it hits. Like, so, but if it's exposed now on Hard Knocks, he's struggling because we're not going to be seeing him just throwing those pretty passes like we see on One Jets Drive. It's going to be freaking like, man, he went freaking 3 of 13 today. He's struggling to read defenses. We'll be able to see that through Hard Knocks. Yep. And then in freaking the preseason, he's struggling. You don't have a choice. Like we were just saying, we're all in right now. Aaron Rodgers is one of the GOATs, but he's also 39 years old. And like you said, with our offensive line question marks, the last thing we need, knock on wood, is this man taking a hit, ending our season. If we can put somebody competent to be able to play for a couple of games while he's healing up, that's important. That could be the difference between winning the AFC East. That could be the difference between making a wild card. That's going to be important. 100%. And I think at the preseason mark, Zach Wilson's going to have all he can handle. And if he doesn't show out to at least be a competent backup, we're definitively going to bring somebody in.
Dude, and that was my thing. It's like, as Jet fans, our mindset has to change. We're so used to being bad and average and mediocre. We're not thinking about winning the AFC East or making the playoffs. I'm worried about late December. Like, if the AFC East is on the line, do I want Zach Wilson starting a game for me? No, probably not. God, no. No. Right? Like so he better show, he has to almost be lights out. Because you want that insurance policy, that slam dunk insurance policy, like a Teddy Bridgewater, whoever it is, that's just like, all right, Aaron Rodgers gets banged up, God forbid. Okay, we can still survive without him and not lose 2 in a row or whatever else. So I completely agree, man. Now, you go from the quarterback position to the wide receiver group is interesting because there's a lot more talent than we're used to. I think it's we don't have to like try to sell ourselves in some kind of nonsense. Like they have good talent. But I almost want another piece. I was not opposed to Beckham at all. Hopkins, I was surprised with Tennessee. I mean, that's just you'd rather go there to play with Aaron Rodgers. To me, is ridiculous. Money. Right? He
was just chasing money.
So, do you feel comfortable with the wide receiver group as now, or do you think if somebody gets released or maybe like a trade option available, the Jets can maybe explore it?
See, I think I'm one of those rare individuals because it's not just you. I've heard it from a lot of Jets fans who have some concerns about, what I'm saying, the options after Garrett Wilson. Although, like, I get it. You haven't really seen Corey Davis play a full season. I think Corey Davis is an incredible wide receiver too, right? And again, we haven't seen him play with a competent quarterback since Tennessee. So I think we forgot when he was number 2 to A.J. Brown, this guy almost got 1,000 yards, right? 960-something yards, 8 touchdowns. He was an elite wide receiver too. And that was with Ryan Tannehill. Now you give him Aaron Rodgers. You got Garrett Wilson taking over the number 1 reign, so that's less pressure off of his back. He's going up against number 2, number 3 DBs. I like what Corey Davis can do to some of these guys. He's a bigger, stronger receiver. He picked up on some speed by losing some weight this past offseason. Yes, health was a concern. But again, when you're having to make acrobatic catches every time the ball's thrown your way because it's inaccurate, you're bound to go ahead and fuck yourself up. It's just a matter of time. I think a guy like Aaron Rodgers can allow him to go ahead and make easier catches, right? Put the balls where he can go ahead and catch them. Not to mention protect him away from contact too whenever he's going up the middle. I think we're scared of Corey Davis because we've only seen Corey Davis with Zach Wilson. But I urge individuals to go back and look at him his last year in Tennessee when he had A.J. Brown as number 1 and Ryan Tannehill, who's just a good quarterback, what he did. It was impressive. You have him as wide receiver 2. You bring in Lazard at wide receiver 3, which is I think is more his role. Yep. He's not a separator, but he's a great freaking high point guy, great blocker. I like that combination of guys. Mecole Hardman is not a slouch either. And then you got freaking Randall Cobb coming up to round out the back end. And then there's the kid. I like the kid.
Jason Brownlee.
He's like, no, not Brownlee.
Connor loves him.
What is the kid's name? I
Don't say Denzel Mims.
No, God, no. It ain't Denzel Mims. I wouldn't disrespect you like that. Man, he looks just like a freaking the white kid.
I know you're talking about too. It's
yeah. I'm just forgetting his name now. I'm like,
the chat will come up with it.
But
shit.
Yeah, somebody's gonna put it out there. But him, I like him a lot as potentially being the sixth wide receiver we bring in, right? I love his separation. I mean, granted, it was just OTAs, it was just minicamp, but I love the separation that he showed, his breaks, his ability to extend and catch the ball, and the boy is fast, right? Like, he's fast. So he could be an elite, not elite, but a great option also in the special teams department, and also rounding up being wide receiver 6. Why am I forgetting his name? I've been talking about him nonstop.
What's up, Elmo?
Now I'm mad at myself. What's up, Elmo?
We'll come back to you. See, even it's smart to say hi to Elmo, man. Because if you don't say hi to him, he gets gets all angry. So
yeah, I know.
so we go from the wide receiver group to the tight end group is really interesting, man, because I think now we get a chance to see a lot of what Ruckert can do now that he's healthy. NFL offseason with a legitimate offense and a quarterback that can actually use him wisely. Then you have Conklin, then you have Zuma. I think we don't talk about the tight end group enough, to be honest with you. Because I think I'm a Conklin guy. I was a little disappointed last year, but I think in this offense with this quarterback, I think he can do big things. And then you got
thank you, AC. Jerome Cap. AC just put it there. It is. Thank you. Thank you, AC. Jerome Cap. I like this kid. I like him a lot, and I don't know why I forgot his name. I've been talking about him nonstop for the last couple of weeks. But anyway, love me some Jerome. That's what it is, man. Your boy's tired, Joe. Your boy's tired. But I think he might be a sneaky pick to go ahead and get that last wide receiver spot, wide receiver 6, if we're going to carry 6. So keep an eye out for Jerome Cap. That kid, I think, can ball. But yes, tight end room, Tyler Conklin. That's also my guy. I love me some Tyler Conklin. Go ahead. My bad for interrupting.
No, you're good. No, but I just think that they're good. But what do you think about Ruckert, though? Now they use him as more of a hybrid, maybe use like a fullback, moving around a little bit. He's a great athlete, man. Just to kind of get him more involved in the offense.
I think Ruckert is without question tight end 1 starting as early as next year. I think we committed too much already to CJ Uzomah and, of course, Tyler Conklin. They're going to get those reps. They're the veteran guys. But I think last year we didn't get to see enough of Ruckert. But this is a kid who's coming from Ohio State, where they preach and develop route running, right? So he's a great route runner. The only weakness he really had in his game was blocking. But he's a willing blocker. He's willing to get in there and make the attempt. Yeah. A physical guy. So now you got him in an NFL weight room. I think I think freaking Ruckert has the ability to come out party this year. He could be tight end 1 by the time the season is over. He's probably the most talented tight end we have in our tight end room. I think the only question mark is, do you force feed CJ Uzomah? You force feed Tyler Conklin because you've made those financial investments in those guys, and they are the veteran dogs. You're going to put those guys with freaking Aaron Rodgers. But I think if you look at it, man, Ruckert's talent level far exceeds those two guys. I think when it's all said and done, hell, as early as next year, he's not even arguably, but he's tight end 1 for the New York Jets. I love me some Ruckert, bro.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Hackett does a good job of maximizing everybody's talent and not force feeding an offense. Like, you have to do this, you have to do this. Like, okay, this is what you do good. We're gonna let you do that. And I think Aaron Rodgers does that too. Aaron Rodgers is like, all right, listen, let's use your skill set to your advantage. I know what you're gonna do. Like, that's kind of like my hope for the offense, where it's like it's not gonna be the same stuff we've seen for the last couple of years, where it's just like, why are these guys doing this? You have a big body guy. Why isn't there fade passes in the end zone? All these different things that we never did, which doesn't make any sense. So, offense is exciting.
If you ever have any concerns about what to expect from Hackett, everybody's going to go off of the recency bias in terms of him being the head coach, which is different from being an offensive coordinator. But I digress. I go back to as far as when he was Jaguars offensive coordinator, and he made Blake Bortles look like an NFL Pro Bowler.
Yep.
Blake freaking Bortles. When you watch that, I literally went back and watched the Jaguar season, that whole season, just because I wanted to see what he could do with.
Bored, man?
Bro, I was. It's been boring. It's been very boring in terms of news. But I wanted to know, like, okay, worst case scenario, what can Hackett do with that team? He made Blake Bortles look like a pro, but he got Blake Bortles paid, being the offensive coordinator over there. And for me, I'm like, okay, this is a guy who understands how to adapt, and his offensive game plan is not like a stickler. Oh, this is what it's going to be, and I'm not going to adjust. You can see the adjustments year after year when he got new personnel. I really believe that he's going to go ahead and match this personnel to his offensive playbook versus offensive playbook having to match his personnel.
Yeah, and I think that's another advantage too for Saleh is having Aaron Rodgers and Hackett, two experienced, veteran coordinator, a veteran quarterback. So game management, time management, attacking the defense, it's going to be so much more efficient this year because last year they run around, they don't like there's just too much inexperience, man. And then they get frazzled, they got to adjust. You got a bad quarterback and all this other stuff. So you go to the defensive side of the ball, and the question I have for you is one of my concerns was the run defense. They lose Rankins, they lose Shepard, they get Woods, they get Jefferson. Do you think that's going to be enough to be stout against the run? Because obviously the Jets should be playing with leads. So, you want to say, we can pin our ears back and, rush the passer, but you got to stop the run too. Are you concerned about that at all or no?
Okay. So I was initially a little concerned about that, but we brought in Al Horford, who I think is just a huge behemoth of a man. Like the guy is massive, but there's a guy named Michael Clemens who put on 20 pounds of muscle that I think is going to see a lot of time on the inside. Not only is he somebody I believe who's going to be impactful in the run game as he was on the edge, but now stacking up that weight, he's able to go ahead and take his strength, his bull rush ability on the inside. He's going to disturb some run plays in the backfield, as well as get after the quarterback. I think Michael Clemens is going to surprise us at defensive tackle. I think he's going to have a coming out party at defensive tackle. Dude's a freak athletically. Even at this size right now, he's still moving extremely well. But 20 pounds, have you seen that, man? 20 pounds of muscle. Like where? Where did you find enough ability to build an additional 20 pounds of muscle from that frame? And yet he did it. I think he's going to be very, very disruptive. But I also think with us having leads this year, vice not, we're going to be seeing the run game less utilized against us because teams are going to have to actually play catch up, which is going to allow these guys to go ahead and put these offenses in the hole. So a lot of things are going to help in terms of that running, like the running defense. It wasn't really good last year, but teams had all day to run on us because we weren't putting up points. So it just made sense, right? They're going to have to throw the ball more this year. And I think Clemens is going to be that potential answer to the concerns we might have on the interior.
Yeah, you got John Franklin Myers still there too, so it's another guy that's a very good player. So it's going to be interesting, man. And I think that defensive line's got so much potential and so much talent. The Jets went from a team that had no pass rushers. We referenced John Abraham for like 6 years in a row at every friggin' draft. We need a pass rusher to now you have so many guys. You have Carl Lawson going to be healthier, Jermaine Johnson. And then you have a first round pick that nobody's even talking about. Like usually when we draft the first rounder, dude, it's like this guy better get 10 sacks. He better be a game changer.
Yep.
Dude, McDonald's going to be like, to me, like McDonald's will be like Jermaine Johnson last year. He's going to get his share of reps, but not a lot. And not a lot of pressure because you have Huff ahead of him. It's exciting to see how the Jets are going to handle this defense, especially playing with a lead, man, because you could literally just pin your ears back and be like, go, you guys go, because we got a secondary behind that can support you with no problem.
Yep. And that's why I'm excited about this year, right? Aaron Rodgers doesn't just fix your offense. He makes your defense better. Last season, we were the only defense in the entire NFL that had twice the amount of offensive reps, and we're still in the top 10.
Yep.
The only defense. Aaron Rodgers is going to help the defense, the special teams, the entire team, just because he's going to do what quarterbacks are supposed to do, give you a chance on the offensive side of the ball. And once you have a guy like that, a defense, the way our defense is built, people think I'm crazy when I say this, you're going to see this defense kind of explode the way the 49ers defense did when they got a quarterback. I really believe you're going to see a similar breakout this season from when they got Jimmy Garoppolo when he first got to the 49ers. And I think Aaron Rodgers is 10 times the quarterback of a Jimmy Garoppolo. So I can't wait for the season to start already. Like it's a lot of what it should be, right? I want to start seeing it happen. And once you start seeing it happen, then it's just going to be more fun to just have these conversations because there's so many people who it's the same old Jets. Okay, cool. Same old Jets. Got it. Can't wait to hit some of these people in the mouth. It's going to be a great season.
No, I can't wait either, man. So it's like you have tremendous, competition and depth on a defensive line. Linebacker, a little bit concerned. The corners are, I love DJ Reed. You got Sauce Gardner. You got Michael Carter. So that's fine. The safety position is a bit of a concern because we talked. I mean, I think we talked last time. We talked. Whitehead was kind of disappointing, but he's like, you know what he is. He's a big hitter. He's kind of like your leader back there, but disappointing. Then they lose Chuck Clark. You're like, oh, Tony
that
Adams
hurts so much.
Tony Adams is a young kid that's got a lot to prove, and then you got Amos, who is not a ball hawk, consistent, good tackler, but the speed and range, all that stuff, you kind of still want. What are your thoughts about the safety position?
It's definitely our weakest group, I think. I think the safety room is the weakest group on this entire team. But then you look at the fact that the safety is there to provide backup, you know what I'm saying, whenever the cornerback gets beat. And we can sit here comfortably knowing DJ Reed doesn't get beat. Sauce Gardner doesn't get beat, right? The recovery speed for both of those guys, we saw it last year. Elite. They can go ahead and make up for lost ground. Michael Carter does it. We've got the cornerbacks to kind of make the safety more of a bonus, vice a necessity. And that allows us to breathe a little bit, especially when those defensive linemen are chasing down quarterbacks and they can't set their feet to go ahead and get those balls over our heads. So the safety group being the weakest, I would hope, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe Tony Adams has a coming out party. You know, well, again, this is hoping, right? We're just kind of hoping at this point. Like you said, there's a lot of question marks, more question marks than answers when it comes to the safety room. And when you're trying to go for it all right now, that's not comfortable. It makes you uneasy. But I got to say again, with that defensive line putting pressure and our cornerbacks are really that good. DJ Reed is, I don't care what anybody says, he's a top 10, top 15 max cornerback in this league.
Completely agree.
We got 2 number 1 cornerbacks. And that's a level of comfort I don't think we could ever. You know, when we had freaking Revis and Cromartie, I wouldn't say Cromartie was really he was a great number 2. I wouldn't put him on other teams but number 1. But we can say that DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, those guys are locking down their sides of the field. So that's a huge benefit. So yeah, I'm with you, man. Safety room, a lot of question marks. It makes me a lot uneasy. But I feel I can sleep at night knowing that defensive line is going to give the quarterback very little time. And those cornerbacks are going to hold down their wide receivers.
Yeah, and I think having a relentless pass rush, playing with a lead, you're going to get your turnovers. You're going to get your strip sacks. You're going to get your fumbles. You're going to get and interceptions, what you can get last year. But interceptions come when the quarterbacks rattle a little bit, just throwing up prayers, and that's when you get them. So it's going to be interesting. So now you're Gunny Gumby. You're this celebrity content creator, right? You have all this excitement surrounding you. You have all this excitement around you. And for, it's been a rough time as a Jet fan, man, because we gotta like sell Zach Wilson. We got to sell Mike White. We got to buy into Joe Flacco. And now you sit here as this celebrity that you are with Aaron Rodgers as your fucking quarterback, dude. Like, it's like, dude, I'm not going to lie. Like, I am more excited than I should be. I watch all these little dumb Jets videos, all this stuff. Like, I can't get enough of Aaron Rodgers content. I'll watch One Jets Drive, Hard Knocks. How exciting is it, man, to know that he's here?
Bro, it's different, right? Like, and it's crazy to think that we as Jets fans can sit here and say we've got a Hall of Fame quarterback playing at a high level on the New York Jets, and he's our quarterback. He's our guy. Everybody's saying, "Oh, he had a down year last year." His down year was a top 10 performance in the NFL. Could you imagine, bro? Would have been a record-setting season for Jets fans, right? But it was the number 10th ranked statistical quarterback last year, down year. We've prayed for days like this. We have prayed for days like this. We've been through the grinder as Jets fans. If you're not excited right now as a Jets fan, if you're choosing to be angry, then you just enjoy being sad and upset. There's nothing to be upset about this season, and you should be I can't wait for football to actually start. Like, I can't wait for it to kick off. I'm so impatient for it right now.
Dude, this is the first summer where you're like, I go to barbecues and parties. Like, I walk in proud. Like, let's talk Jets. Want to talk football? Let's talk football. Usually I walk in, I'm like, oh, I got to do the Zach Wilson bullshit again. Like, you know what's coming too. This year, like, people are scared of me because, like, don't let the Jets be good because I'll be that fan.
Oh, my God. I'm going to be that guy. Yep.
100%.
I got receipts. I got so many receipts, and I'm gonna be rattling them off as freaking the Jets cash in wins this season. And I think a lot of the people that have talked shit to me are in the same boat like you were just saying. They're like, oh shit, man, he got Aaron Rodgers now. No one's talked to me. Usually in the offseason, I'm getting all kinds of phone calls like, oh my God, how do you feel about Zach Wilson? How do you feel about that? No, now I'm getting people like, well, Aaron Rodgers is on the decline. Okay.
That's the new thing.
Okay. That's a new thing. Sure. Yeah. On the decline. Got it. So I just laugh because that's all they got. All they got is, well, last year he was, he had only freaking the 10th best performance of quarterbacks last year. Okay, the Jets had to deal with the 35th ranked statistically speaking last year. The quarterback room for the Jets was the 35th ranked quarterback room in the NFL. There's 32 teams in the NFL. We had the 35th ranked quarterback room in the NFL. That's how bad it was. I'm gonna be upset because of he was the 10th best quarterback in the NFL. Sure, you got me. You're hurting my feelings.
Yeah, it's like, all right. So if he's not top 3, he's top 5, 6. But okay, do we realize what we're dealing with and what you can win with? The guy can win football games. The most important thing is the Jets are in the best chance to win they've been in a decade. And
Facts.
Week in and week out, you have a chance to beat anybody.
Yep.
And when was the last time you could say that? So I'm like, bring on all your hate. Like, and the best thing is like, Aaron Rodgers has embraced it, dude. He's embraced being a Jet. He's been great with his teammates. And like he's a petty bastard.
Yes.
Man. He's like, oh what? You're writing me off. I'm on a decline.
He holds grudges.
Bro, he's on like a vendetta. He'd be like, all right, it's fine. Write me off, write me down, discount us, and he will just shove it in everybody's face. You know he will.
Oh, bro, I can see Aaron Rodgers holding up the MVP trophy this season, just talking about, man, and just to think, I'm washed. I can see a petty remark being made as he's holding up a Lombardi and a freaking MVP trophy. Like, man, to think I was washed this past year. Man, I think he's – and you know what, though? It's good for us. An angry Aaron Rodgers went back-to-back MVPs when they drafted Jordan Love just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, an angry Aaron Rodgers went back-to-back MVPs.
Yep.
Piss him off. Talk all the shit y'all want. I'll retweet it too. I hope he sees it. I'll tag him and stuff. I want y'all to piss this man off. I want Aaron Rodgers furious going into the season.
So I got like 3 more questions for you. So the next one is, what the one thing about this team is they're made to win. They have talent. They have superstars. You got Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Quinnen, CJ Mosley. There's all this expectations from you, from me, the media, everybody expects it. To me, there's a lot of pressure on Robert Saleh too, man, because Saleh has to manage all these expectations. He's got to manage all these personalities. He's got to handle some adversity with the spotlight glaring on him, all these primetime games. This team is under the hard knock thing. What is your level of confidence in Saleh being able to handle all this, man? Because, they're just said, they lose week 1. Oh, the Jets, what are they doing? Like, he's got to manage a lot, dude.
Yeah.
What is your level of confidence with Saleh?
I've been a fan of how he attacks his interviews, how he attacks the media, right? He seems to always be in control, collected. He's well spoken. But even when he's losing, he continues to maintain his demeanor, and I've appreciated that. But like you said, nobody was expecting the Jets to do much last year. Nobody was expecting the Jets to do much the year before that. Nope. The conversation right now is the New York Jets and Super Bowl. Like, that's where we're at right now. This is year 3. This is the shut up or put up type of season, right? Like, if he can't handle this pressure, then we know we have our answer. This isn't the guy that can go ahead and carry us to the promised land. But it's going to be, I'm not saying it's he's on the hot seat. I don't think he's going to get fired unless we just blow the season, right? But I think he'll be watched more so in terms of how he, like you said, how he handles all of this. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of pressure in the New York media market. Good luck, brother, because now you've got all the tools. We can't hide behind Mike LaFleur anymore. Nope. We can't hide behind Zach Wilson anymore. Like, you've got all the tools. Like, this team right now has your DNA all over it. You've been a part of this process now for 3+ years. It's time to start winning. So, yeah, I'm concerned about the amount of pressure. I won't lie about that. But I will say I have faith in his ability to go ahead and remain professional. And still motivate his guys. So with those 2 attributes, I think it'll trend upwards. But if I'm being honest with you, if it didn't, it wouldn't surprise me, because he's never felt this kind of pressure before, where he has no other person to blame now but himself if it goes sideways.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that Hackett will help him. Rodgers will help him. Like, they'll have that other sounding board to kind of guide him through any kind of stormy waters there. So what do you think is the biggest training camp position battle? Is there anything, I'm guessing you're probably going to say center. Is there any kind of training camp battle that you're really fascinated by?
Honestly, I kind of want to go ahead and see how it's going to go ahead and dish out between the other edge position. I know Carl Lawson is a lock, right? Call me a homer, but I've been watching, again, lots of time on my hands, a lot of Will McDonald tape, and I've been a huge fan of Will McDonald tape. Now that I've seen, okay, this is the guy we got. Fuck it, let me go ahead and figure him out. Man, this kid, he played out of position and was still dominating And I think with the level of depth we have at the defensive line, putting him on the edge, it's just a field day for a guy with his level of talent. So between him, JJ, and Bryce Huff, I kind of want to know who's going to be the other starting edge on the other side of Carl Lawson. Granted, they rotate quite a bit, so it doesn't really matter. But I kind of want to see who comes out on top as being the guy in the depth chart lined up as, okay, you're the other edge on the other side of Carl Lawson. So I'm intrigued about that. And then the other one is going to be between Corey Davis and Allen Lazard. I want to see who's going to become definitively the wide receiver too. I say it's Corey Davis, but Lazard has the rapport already with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm curious if Corey Davis gets his contract restructured, or they figure something out, maybe lower it down a little bit. I'm surprised he's still here, to be honest with you, but I'm surprised he's still here under that current contract. So wonder if they kind of work something out with him. Maybe if he does play well, maybe try to make an extension, make it longer. I don't know. Just see what happens there. Is there any surprise cuts you're predicting?
Surprise cuts. I mean, honestly, I think Denzel Mims is gone. People think I think Denzel Mims is gone. This is a wrap for him. He had his opportunities. He's not built to be a Jet. I don't know if that's a surprise though. But if I had to give you a surprise cut,
I got you.
Man, yeah, that's a good one. Surprise cut. You know what? There's a part of me that thinks Randall Cobb gets cut.
Really?
There's this. I was talking to DK and Italy Jet about this, and I like a couple of those young receivers and what they can do in terms of explosiveness. And I think when you've got guys like Allen Lazard and you've got Corey Davis and you've got Mecole Hardman who already bring that veteran-like presence to the wide receiver room, going faster and younger is the way to go. And there's a couple of guys I think that are going to surprise some of us in camp. I think Randall Cobb could potentially be a casualty of that. Like, he's brought in, he's going to help implement the offense and whatnot and do that. But to me, you're talking about, I don't think he's going to be one of the top 6 wide receivers in camp. I think more so his presence and his leadership and his ability to help implement this offense will go great up until freaking cut day. Yep. But it wouldn't surprise me if Randall Cobb winds up getting chopped.
Yeah, see, I think to me, I'm the one. My surprise would be Michael Carter. I think the running back, because I'm just like, that's the one. But I'm thinking if it's because they have like a stockpile at running back. If you go out and get a veteran guy, somebody's got to go anyway. I'm convinced you're going to go out and get a veteran guy. Once I figure you bring everybody to training camp, you let them work out, see how they're going to flow in the offense, see who gets what. If somebody gets injured, an easy choice then. But I just wonder. You mentioned it earlier. I wonder what he's been a little bit just off-centered with stuff. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So if you had said traded, I would have said Michael Carter.
Okay.
If you had said like traded, I have him as a trade candidate. Specifically if we bring somebody in. I have a hard time seeing them cut him over Bam. I think if they were going to cut one, it would be Bam. Michael Carter had an incredible year for us year one. Again, last year was an anomaly. I don't know about you, but going into year 2, I didn't think we needed a running back. I thought Michael Carter, you know what I'm saying, like showed us enough to where he could be RB1. So Breece Hall was a beautiful surprise and a pleasant one. We were all happy about that. But I don't think they cut him. I think if we lose Michael Carter, it's going to be to a trade. But man, I kind of want to see him in year 3 with competent quarterback play, supporting. Again, if we don't bring in a veteran guy, him being the guy behind Breece Hall, a bit of a 1-2 punch. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at the same time if they brought in a veteran guy and his demeanor itself caused enough concern, and they couldn't find a trade partner, and they were like, "Yeah, you know what, man, appreciate you, but you got to go."
Yeah.
I see him going to the Cleveland Browns if we do that. If we cut him, he'll call his friend Elijah and be like, "Hey, bud, I need a job."
All right. So now the easiest question you're going to get all night is realistic expectations for this New York Jets team that we just praised them for 50 minutes.
Yeah. About
how great they're going to be. Now, to me, it's like, I'll be honest with you. I'm thinking you've got to make a legitimate run at the AFC East. Like, I want to be the 11-win range, because I think with the stacked AFC, 10 wins may not be enough, to be honest with you. Like, I want to get 11 wins. I don't want, right? Yeah. So, but 11 wins, 12 wins, you're making a run at the AFC, and that's realistic. I don't think that's being like fanboy. I think that's with all the talent they have, especially with Aaron Rodgers being a top 8 quarterback. That's realistic. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. We won 7 games last year with no help from the quarterback position, unheard of freaking injuries to the offensive line, and our number one weapon running back or top 5 running back was injured as well. We still won 7 games, and we lost another 5 games within 1 possession. Another 6 games combined where the team held the opponent to the NFL average, below the NFL average in scoring. We're not going to have that problem this year. Honestly, in the AFC East, I have us losing twice. Once to Buffalo, once to Miami. We're sweeping the Patriots, and then we're going to split with those 2 guys. I got the Jets going 12-5. For me, it's 12-5. They win the AFC East. And do you want my whole prediction? The whole prediction for the season?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So we go 12-5. We win the AFC East. We make it to the AFC Championship game, play the Bengals. Unfortunately, we fall short. And we have to run it back again next year.
Sign me up. Listen, man. After all the things we missed on, we win the division. We get a home playoff game or a couple home playoff games. Sign me up for that, man. I mean, that's just after all we've been. I mean, it's super exciting. And anything less than that, man, is a disappointment to me. Like, I don't want to be sitting there, 9-8, not good enough. Like, there's just too much talent, right? It's just, and like, it's just
if you gave me wins, I'd be like, this season was a fucking disaster. Like, if you said, "Oh, just won 10 games this year," nope, we sucked. That was a disaster from what we should have been. To me, it's 11. 11 is the floor. 11 is the floor in terms of wins. Yep. I think 12 is the number we wind up hitting. But man, if you want to give me a 17-0 season, I'm not going to argue about that. I see people putting 17-0. I'm like, hey, look, I'm not going to argue with you. Bring it. I would love to see that freaking Miami Dolphins record. You know what I'm saying? Fall and collapse. But I think, man, like you said, with everything we've put into this team, the defense is that good. No matter what you say in regards to, they faced 7 top 10 quarterbacks last season, 7 top 15 receiving threats last season. And people will tell you, well, you faced 4 freaking backups. Okay, what about the 7 top 10 guys they also shut down? That does count. Like, I don't understand the logic where the other stuff didn't matter somehow. There's 17 games in a season. You're talking about 4 games. But for me, I think this team is ready now, man. The defense is elite. When you have defenses like this, they don't stay this good for long. You got to take advantage. Aaron Rodgers still has a lot in the tank. 11 wins is the floor. I'm sorry, 11 wins is the floor. Not to mention, do you see how many home games we have? We traveled to the West Coast like 3 times in the entire freaking season. The schedule couldn't be more tailor-made to go ahead and give us a bit of an edge in every game that we play. So, yeah, for me, 11 games is the floor. And anything below that, I'm going to consider it a disappointing season.
So now what games are you going to, man? You got to be going to some games, right?
Yes, I am. I'm going to the Cowboys game. And I'm trying to make it out to Jersey for the Chiefs versus the Jets game. I love to see Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers go at it live. So I'm working on that. Otherwise, I'm currently working on this home opener, Bills versus Jets as well. So I'm trying to see 3 next year.
You got to come to Jets Bills, man.
Right? I feel like that's a must. I feel like it's a must. So I already called my boy Mace. He's already got me a place to stay. So now it's just a matter of letting the wife know I'm going to take a little trip for the weekend.
And then you obviously are going to hang out with me in Vegas. I mean, we've
100%. So the Vegas one is one that I'm trying to go ahead and take advantage of the Jake Asman thing, where like you get the discounted. I saw that and I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll be discounted. So that one's also in the works. I forgot about that one. Yeah, you're right. It was 4 games. Damn. Okay, it's gonna be a good.
I'm gonna be hanging out with you in Vegas. What can go wrong?
A lot can go wrong. Trust me, I got a bit of a gambling streak, so.
And I'm not scared of beverages, so we'll be fine.
Neither am I, my friend. We're gonna have a good time.
Well, you better keep in touch, man. If you come to the home opener and stuff, because we got a tailgate, stop by, say hi, whatever else. But
100%.
I know that I told you 35, 40 minutes. I lied to you because I got almost an hour. So
bro,
I completely apologize.
I could care less, bro. Like when it comes to chopping up with you, we can go all day if you want to, dog.
I know you're a busy man. You're on like every show. I had to block out time with you have an admin. I had to contact your admin just to get time with you.
That is not what happened. You got my direct cell phone number and I answered immediately.
I had to contact your office to get you on the show. It was incredible.
Nah, man, Tyson's full of shit. He texted me directly, and I was like, "Ooh, Tyson, hell yeah!" I responded immediately.
He's like, please contact my office. I'll get back to you with two to 4 days. So for those of you that don't know where you're at, which is crazy, I think everybody knows because we've all seen you. What's the best way to find you? Check out all your content.
Yeah. New York Jets Situation Report. I'm on YouTube, TikTok. Now I'm on Thread, Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Season's about to kick off. I've got a couple of goodies coming in terms of giveaways. Again, I'm getting back into the giving season as the season gets here. I'm gonna be really, really generous this year. We're talking about Jets winning games, man. I'm about to start giving something away like once a week at this point. But yeah, follow me on the all of them. Keep an eye out for when those things become available. I am also doing a free to enter fantasy football league.
Nice. Where
the winner's going to get an autographed, I think it's a Quinnen Williams jersey this year for the champ, and it's free. Just going to be first come, first serve. After the champion and the runner-up, and of course myself, that's 3 slots gone from the 12 slots. First come, first serve gets in. I'll be announcing that on Twitter and on my YouTube channel.
Look at you making moves, man. So what's your Twitter account?
New York Jets Situation Report. I pop right up.
There you go. See, there we go. See, look at this. We're giving you instant promotion here, man. Look at this. Instant.
I appreciate you, baby. I don't got your kind of following, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get like you.
Dude, you may not want my following, to be honest with you. It's crazy, man. You throw
I love the real ones, though.
Dude, you throw out
they keep you honest.
One bad stat. You could. The best thing is, Gunny, I'll tell you this, dude. You could do a 9-minute video and be proud of it. Like, wow, this video was on point. They're like, bro, you said a word wrong, and the one stat was incorrect. It's like a 9-minute video freestyle. Like, I don't even read notes.
Hey, they keep you on your toes, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It took me as long as it did to get into the content creation game because I'd watch you getting roasted and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, these guys are brutal. I didn't want to deal with the Jets fans, but after a while, I was like, man, just fuck it. I'm gonna get out there and see what happens. So I've been there. I've gotten roasted a couple of times as well.
It's fine. I love it, man. They hold everybody accountable, man.
You're accountable. Yep. They don't care who you are.
Because like you make a video like not gonna be good enough. Can't do this one. Got to put that.
Yep.
Do it again.
I have. I've redone content numerous times. Like, that is not gonna cut it with this freaking fan base. Let me go ahead and run that back.
I've done it too. Well, Gunny, again, thank you for your time, man. It's an hour on a Monday. I definitely appreciate it. Whoever's watching or listening to this, be sure to subscribe. You're kicking ass. You do all over the place. Your content's legit, man. Like you have like great energy, great content, and you're informative. You have all kinds of stats. So I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So have a good night. And then you come the week 1, you better tell me, just so you know.
Oh, 100%. I'll text you when I know when I'm going to be out there.
Awesome. Have a great night, man. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm not sure what Kevin and Prime Time are doing tomorrow night, but thank you for watching. And then we're going to be doing all kinds of call-in shows starting next week. So have a good night.